Alright, we will be looking at our 7-11, that is grade 7, 11th week math review, day 3, that is Wednesday, and also on this video we will examine day 4. Alright, beginning with, we have addition and subtraction of fractions. I will work problem number 2. Okay. When we are considering adding mixed numbers, oftentimes it is easier to add the whole part and then add the fractional part. And I will show that here. Alright. I'm adding 2 3/8 plus 4 4/5. Okay, I'm going to add my whole part, then add my fractional part, and then there may be an additional, one final addition in the end. 2 plus 4 is 6. So we have 6 and something. Okay, we need to add the 3/8 and the 4/5. In order to add, we need a common denominator. Considering, what is the common denominator between 5 and 8? It's 40. One way to find the common denominator is simply multiply these two numbers together. So we know we want the common denominator to be 40. So question, 5 times what gives 40? Well, 5 times 8. Whatever I multiply by the denominator, I must multiply by the numerator. 4 times 8 is 32. Alright. 8 times what yields 40? 8 times 5 is 40. So multiplying the numerator by that as well. 3 times 5 is 15. Now we are prepared for the fractional part of our sum. The common denominator stays as 40. 15 and 32 is a 47. So we have 6 and 47 over 40. Well, this 47 over 40 can be simplified to a 1 and 7 over 40. 40 goes into 47 one time with 7 left over. Now we must add 1 and 47 over 40 and 6. Well, that's easy. 6 plus 1 is 7, and then 7 over 40 remains. 7 and 7/40. Lastly, we will consider, is this reasonable? Well, 4 4/5 is almost 5. 2 3/8 is a little more than 2. 2 plus about 5 is 7 and something, so 7 and 7/40 isn't it reasonable? You can answer this addition in the same fashion. The subtractions, perhaps it's best if we find the the improper fraction in the beginning, or we can also do a similar method as with the addition by doing some borrowing. You can decide which method works best for you there. Alright, next we're looking at the write the unit rate problem. Typically when we write the unit rate, we are going to find out how many dollars we are spending per whatever the object is we're talking about. In this case we have pencils, in this case cans of tuna, and so forth. So here we have $6 for 2 cans of tuna. I'm simply going to divide by the 2 in both positions. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So what we're looking at here is $6 for 2 cans of tuna is the same as $3 per 1 can of tuna. I can just write that as can of tuna. $3 for 1 can of tuna. 7 calculators cost 200. Well, dividing both by 7, I'll take 200 and divide by 7. 7 goes into 20 twice. 2 times 7, 14. Subtract gives 6. Bring down my 0. 7 into 60, 8 times. 8 times 7 is 56. Got a decimal here. Subtract 4, bring down another 0. 7 into 40, 5 times. 5 times 7, 35. Subtract, I got 5, bring down another 0. 7 into 50 7 times. And since we're dealing with dollars and cents, this will be an appropriate place to leave this off. $28.57. Since 7 calculators cost $200, one calculator is $28.57. We could say $28.57 per calculator. We can continue working all these problems in that fashion. Alright, the bottom problems on the page deal with adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing integers. Integers are positive or negative whole numbers. I will pick a few problems to do. When we're dealing with an addition, if the signs are different, we simply subtract the numbers, disregarding the sign. 10 minus 8 is 2. Will this be a positive 2 or negative 2? Consider the number with a bigger absolute value. In this case, there are more positives than negatives, so the result is a positive 2. Contrast that to 3 plus negative 21. In this case, the signs are different. We will subtract the numbers. 21 minus 3 is 18. But in this case, there's more negatives than positives, so the sum is negative. When the signs are the same, we simply add the numbers up. 8 negatives plus 5 negatives, that's 13 negatives, and that makes perfect sense. 8 negatives and 5 negatives is 13 negatives. When we're multiplying or dividing, it's very easy. If the signs are the same, the result is positive. If the signs are different, the result is negative. Alright, using that information, see if you can complete day 3. Day 4. This would be Thursday. Okay, I'm looking at this problem, number 2. What is 12% of 60? Well, we could use our bar model, but 12%, we would end up with an estimation that would probably be pretty accurate, but we're going to go solve this in a different manner. We're simply going to multiply. You convert your percent to a decimal. 12% is equal to 0.12. Since this is the whole, denoted by of, we can simply multiply. We will take 0.12 times 60. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 6 is 12. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 6 is 6. Summing 0, 2, 7. We have 2 places behind the decimal, so we move this 2 places to the left. The answer is 7.2. 12% of 60 is 7.2. Is that reasonable? Well, 10% of 60 is 6, so we expect it to be a little bit more. 7.2 is indeed reasonable. Okay, here we have some multiplication and division of fractions. And lastly, we have some unit rates that'll be very similar to the ones that we saw over here in the Wednesday activity. So I think you should now be able to solve the remainder of the problems on Thursday.